My son told me our family dinner was off, but when I arrived at the restaurant, I found them secretly dining without me, using my money. I delivered a shock they'll never forget. They fell silent the moment I acted, because I left without settling the bill and took the car keys with me. Hey Reddit, I'm Elaine, 56, a widow for nearly 20 years and mother to 3 grown children, Daniel, Claire, and Mark. My husband passed in a workplace accident when Daniel was just 12, and I've been the backbone of this family ever since. I gave up everything, my dreams, my social life, my health, to ensure my kids had opportunities. I raised them in a humble home, worked double shifts, skipped trips, new clothes, and doctor visits so they'd never go hungry. So imagine the sting, the raw betrayal, when I learned they went to dinner behind my back, charging it to my credit card. That evening started innocently. That Friday morning, Daniel texted to confirm our dinner plans. He'd booked a table at Stonehaven, a fancy downtown spot I'd never treat myself to. He said it was his gift to celebrate a new job. I felt valued, appreciated. I spent the day preparing, got a haircut, wore my best dress, and even put on the necklace my husband gave me for our 10th anniversary. It was one of those rare moments where I felt proud of the life I'd built, believing my kids felt the same. But 2 hours before the reservation, Daniel called. Mom, sorry, but Lisa's feeling under the weather, so we'll need to postpone. Let's do it next week, okay? My heart sank. I asked if everything was fine, and he brushed it off as her being tired from work. He apologized and hung up. I spent the evening on the couch with leftover stew, watching a baking show, trying not to feel like a fool. But sometimes the truth hits you when you least expect it. At 7:48 p.m., I got a text from Karen, an old friend and former neighbor. It was a blurry photo through a restaurant window with a note. Didn't know you were at Stonehaven tonight. You all look happy. Let's catch up. I stared at the image. There they were. Daniel, Lisa, Claire, Mark, and little Sophie in her stroller, seated at a long table under Stonehaven's warm lights, raising glasses, laughing like a picture-perfect family. Without me. I drove to the restaurant, consumed by a rage I couldn't yet name. Not sadness or disappointment, just pure betrayal, a fire burning in my chest. I walked in, still in the outfit I'd chosen for our dinner, and told the hostess I was joining my family. She guided me to their booth. They didn't notice me until I was right there. Their laughter stopped cold. Faces froze. Claire's eyes widened and Daniel dropped his spoon. Mom, why are you here? He stammered. I kept my voice calm, not wanting a scene yet. I thought dinner was canceled. Lisa jumped in, mumbling about last-minute plans and how they assumed I wouldn't want to come if someone was unwell. I turned to the server, who was bringing more appetizers. Can I see the bill? She hesitated, glanced at Daniel, then handed me the folder. The charge was on a card ending in 7984. Mine. The emergency card I'd given Daniel in college, which I'd asked him to return multiple times. He always said he would. My hand trembled, not from nerves, but fury. You canceled our dinner, then came here anyway, using my card? Daniel stood, trying to placate me. I raised a hand. Number, let me talk. I looked at each of them, Claire avoiding my eyes, Mark acting surprised, Lisa radiating guilt, Daniel looking irritated. I told myself I'd love you 3 until my last breath, but I've never felt more erased than I do now. You used me. You didn't even invite me. You wanted my money, but not me. I'm done. I pulled the spare car keys from my purse, the ones for the car I'd given Daniel when his old one broke down. This? I'm taking it back. Daniel stood, indignant. You can't take my car. Your name's not on the title, I said. Mine is. Figure it out. Call a taxi. Then I walked out. I sat in the parking lot for 15 minutes, gripping the steering wheel, not crying or yelling, just numb. This wasn't a one-time mistake. This was who they'd become. I wasn't letting it go. That night, I logged into my bank accounts and cut off all their access. I canceled the card Daniel used and reported the charges as unauthorized. Then I went further, freezing the account he'd been dipping into for Lisa's baby shower, their trip last summer, and who knows what else. The next day, I called my attorney. I'd planned to split my savings, house, and insurance equally among my kids. Not anymore. I redrafted my will. Claire and Mark would get shares, but only if they showed basic respect and stayed in touch. Daniel, nothing. Lisa, not even mentioned. The next week, I blocked their numbers. Before I did, I sent one last message in our family chat. You dined without me, using my love and sacrifices like they were nothing. Enjoy the silence you've earned. I haven't spoken to them since. The best part? The quiet is freeing. It's been 3 weeks since that night at Stonehaven. 3 weeks since I stood at their table, watching them enjoy a meal on my dime without offering me a seat. 3 weeks since I reclaimed my car, blocked their numbers, and realized silence isn't weakness. It's strength, a strength I'd never claimed before. But I wasn't finished. This wasn't about a blocked number or a canceled card. That would have been too simple. They didn't just forget me that night. They discarded me. After every sacrifice, every hour I poured into their lives, they acted like I was a burden they'd outgrown. So I gave them what they seemed to want, distance, but not without a few final moves. First, I reviewed 2 years of bank statements, tracking every charge on that emergency card. The $79 pizza order during their beach trip, my card. The $199 stroller and baby gear, my card. Concert tickets, takeout, subscriptions I never used, thousands of dollars. I'd missed it because I was too busy trusting they still saw me as their mother, not a cash machine. I filed a fraud claim with my bank and they locked Daniel's access immediately. He emailed me, starting with flimsy apologies, likely written by Lisa, then shifting to insults, accusing me of ruining his family, calling me heartless, saying I'd lost it. He didn't realize I wasn't just cutting him off financially. I was done emotionally, legally, permanently. That week, I had my lawyer draft a repayment demand for $2,500. Not the full amount, just enough to sting. I had proof for every penny. I had it delivered to his office, hand-served. He didn't reply. Lisa did, emailing me, "This is cruel. He's your son. You're a grandmother. Is this the memory you want to leave?" I laughed. Memory? I'd given them my life, my time, my health, my everything. Their actions weren't just hurtful, they were intentional. And she dared call me vindictive? I replied with one line, "Enjoy your meals because you've had your last one on my dime." The real retaliation came days later. I remembered something. Years ago, Daniel helped set up my smart home system, linked to my Amazon account, still active on his devices. I checked the settings. His household profile was still tied to my Prime. One click, and I removed it. Then I changed the password. He couldn't access his playlists or digital library anymore. I erased all my payment info but left the account just active enough to remind him every door he thought he had was locked. Claire was the only one I hadn't fully cut off. Part of me hoped she'd find her moral compass. She was always the quiet one, watching while the others acted out, but staying silent during cruelty is still enabling it. Then a handwritten letter arrived from her. My heart skipped. She apologized deeply, saying she didn't know they'd excluded me until that day, that she felt awful during the dinner, that she cried after I left. She admitted she was too weak to speak up and begged for a chance to fix things. I didn't respond at first, but her words started to soften my resolve, so I agreed to meet, publicly, at a coffee shop near my house. Just us. No family drama, no guilt trips. She arrived alone, no stroller, no Lisa, no Daniel. Her eyes were puffy. She looked worn beyond her years. We sat, and for the first time in ages, someone in my family truly listened. She'd moved out of the apartment she shared with Mark after a fight over the Stonehaven incident. She was working again and wanted to rebuild if I'd allow it. I was honest. I wasn't interested in reviving the past. That family was gone. But I was open to something new, one-on-one, earned over time. She nodded, crying, and said she understood. We hugged, not out of duty, but shared hurt and maybe shared healing. I left that cafe feeling lighter than I had in years. Later, Daniel sent one last email. "I hope you're satisfied. You destroyed our family." I didn't respond. Instead, I created a new anonymous email and sent one message. "No, You did that when you pushed me out of my own life. Then I deleted the account. Now, months later, my world is smaller, quieter, but authentic. I see Claire weekly. Sophie knows my name. We're building memories untainted by deceit or greed. The others? Silent. Funny how they were so lively, laughing, toasting, reveling in their betrayal until I stopped speaking. They went quiet the moment I did, because they finally understood nothing is louder than a mother's silence, and in that silence, they heard everything they chose to ignore.